we've got to make it clear, as I have, I am not raising taxes on middle-class families, period.
That's fairly unequivocal, so could this be a moment she might regret should she get elected president? A read my lips moment for her to say the taxes on the middle class will never be raised. But she has a lot of things that she wants to pay for, and can just hiking taxes on the well-to-do do it? Let's go to Dave Maney, Deke Digital co-founder and CEO. We got Marcy Stech here, Democratic strategist. Gina Loudon, conservative commentator. What do you think, Gina?
Well, this is more typical Hillary. This is her trying to distract from the WikiLeaks, where she essentially said to Goldman Sachs on Wall Street, hey, don't worry about the things that I tell the voters, because I don't really mean them. This is just another example of that. This is her trying to distract from that. And you have to wonder where this money is going to come from, Neil, because every time Hillary talks about taxing the rich, every time a Democrat does, you know it's going to end up hurting the middle class. But they think we're too stupid to know that.
Well, Marcy, let me ask you about that, because I know she has about $1.5 to $1.75 trillion worth of additional taxes, largely on the rich, for the next 10 years. Others have conservatively priced her spending initiatives at around $2.5 trillion. So how does she fill that gap, assuming their numbers are close to correct?
Well, it's very clear that Hillary Clinton from day one has built this campaign around the middle class. She's built it around what's best for keeping our economy moving forward. And she's made it very clear that we've got to make the wealthiest and millionaires, billionaires, Donald Trump, pay their fair share.
How will she cover that difference? Because that's about a $750 billion difference.
Right. Well, right now, she's talking about taxing the 1%, right? So we're talking about people, millionaires, billionaires, multinational corporations who currently don't pay their fair share.
Well, actually, she's hitting people
Trump,
$250,000 and over, and all the way up to those millionaires and billionaires. But even crunching those numbers, it doesn't add up to paying for all this, right?
So I think what we've got to take a step back and look at right now is the policy that she put on the table, which could impact 15 million young children, families who are looking to get ahead. These are people who are contributing to the labor force. They are contributing to the economy. Donald Trump wants to protect himself. We know, for all we know, he hasn't paid a dime in federal income taxes for over 18 million
I'm not
years.
taking a right or left issue with this. I just want us to stick to answering my questions. Dave, what I want to ask here, and you could argue with Donald Trump, too, that his math doesn't add up here. Are we being so loosey-goosey on this stuff that both candidates then are potentially preparing Americans for big surprises that will come back to haunt them? The numbers are just not there to add up.
That's correct. We're screwed, Neil. There's no other way around it. I mean,
well, I was hoping that you'd come up with another point of reference there, but I see what you're saying.
The Republicans have run an economically idea-less campaign, or an economically false idea campaign that seems designed to match the Democrats' false idea, economic idea campaign, and the result is we're screwed.
Well, that's what I mean to get at, guys. I mean, if you look at our debt and how it's piling up, and then, you know, we're almost at the $20 trillion mark, and anyone who makes promises about helping the middle class or doing more spending up the middle class, or for that matter, cutting taxes aggressively to help everybody, whatever your views on this subject, it ignores the huge elephant in the room that, Gina, I want to get back to with you. I mean, if you think about the Tea Party, its original goal was to rein in government spending run amok. Now we're just grateful if we can control piling more spending on top of that. That's weird.
I think that's why a lot of people are attracted to the idea of somebody who's been successful in business being president, somebody who's actually ever created a job in their entire life, because Hillary has no concept how to do that. It always amuses me when the left says, let's just tax the rich. Do they suppose that this rich CEO is just going to stop taking a paycheck and, you know, just cut his own paycheck down? Or do you suppose that he's maybe going to create a few less jobs, maybe buy less products? This all falls down on the lap of the middle class, and the middle class is the one who ends up paying for it every time, Neil.
Do you think, Marcy, in this environment, raising taxes on anyone, rich, almost rich, in what could be a slowdown, and maybe worse, is a good thing to do?
Well, look, I think that both candidates would agree that we want to make sure that everyone can be successful no matter what your paycheck looks like. But right now, we're looking at a plan put forward by Donald Trump that would raise taxes on the middle class. This is a fundamental difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Where is he raising taxes on the middle class?
Through his child care and maternity plan that he put forward, it would raise taxes, it would roll back deductions, and it would cause an increase on taxes on 8 million middle-class families. You can look it up. I tell you right now, what Donald Trump has put forward is our plans for himself, for his rich buddies, and he wants to protect the top 1%. This is not about everyday Americans who are working hard, trying to make ends meet, working to make sure that their families, that their kids can have a bright future. That's what Hillary Clinton's entire life has been about, and that's what this is about, too.
His taxes would zoom him, too, if he were president. But leaving that aside, Dave, again, we're talking past each other, and this debt is growing. And I can't imagine Wall Street, which has enjoyed the free ride with 0% interest rates, is thinking that's going to last forever, right?
No, I don't think that's going to last forever. And frankly, you know, I travel around the country a lot on business, and I have found relatively few stupid Americans. But both parties treat Americans as if they're stupid. And that in effect anything goes, and that no serious discussion about about actually kind of getting underneath the hood and trying to deal with this massive deficit and debt that we have, and yet nobody talks about it. And there are maybe 15% of people, voters on either end of the tails of the distribution, who are snowed, and everyone else is looking at these two candidates and going, are you kidding me? And that, Neil, is where we're at.
I think American people are much more open to tough love. All right, that says it here.
But there's one of them, Neil, open to
no commercials
Goldman
or Donald
Sachs.
Trump, no commercials or Hillary Clinton. I swear to God, I'm going to stick to that. Thank you all.